Okay, so we were looking at voting methods and different ways that you could vote and calculate who the winner was. And so we're just going to jump in, and these are just key concepts to the sections that we're looking at. And they're in the back of your text, or the chapter of your textbook. If you wanted to go and pull these out, you can, and just kind of copied and pasted. And they actually have the page numbers of where you can go refer to and get more information. But we first looked at basic elements of an election. We looked at single choice ballots. So a single choice ballot, that is where you have a ballot and you're only choosing the number one, who you would want to be the winner. Preference ballot, that is where you actually put some preferences in there. So you might order which candidate you wanted first, second, third, fourth, etc. We had the truncated preference ballot. So that is if you have a lot of candidates, you wouldn't want to have to rank 1 through 100 candidates of your top choice. And so a truncated ballot is where we're going to take and just maybe rank your first 3 choices from 1 to 3. So you got ranking, full ranking, and in an election, an outcome that lists all the candidates in order of preference, first, second, third. So looking at a ballot, we could rank it. Partial ranking, so just looking at a ballot and then ranking the top K candidates. And then the preference schedule, so a table of summaries, the preference ballots of all the voters. Then we got into the plurality method. So plurality method is a method of voting that ranks candidates based on the number of first place voters they receive. Sometimes we can get some insincere voting going on. So voting for a candidate in a manner other than voters' real preference with a purpose of manipulating the outcome of the election. So there could be times where you might know that the person that you would vote for wouldn't win. And so maybe you would then not vote for that top person. Maybe you would vote for somebody that you thought, okay, well, out of the candidates, these are the top candidates. I know one of these people is going to win. So I'm going to choose the best of the worst of those two and vote for them. So for example, with US elections and how different states have the electoral votes and how different parties could be more heavily represented in certain states. So for instance, California is known to be a liberal state. And so if you're not going to vote for the Democrat, you're probably that state's still going to always go for our electoral votes towards Democrat versus Republican. So you might want to vote differently. Okay, so that's just kind of an example. We looked at Condorcet candidates. This is a candidate that beats all the other candidates in a pairwise comparison. So we had to take each candidate and pairwise them with each other candidate and see if we just paired them with that other one, would that be the winner or the loser? And from there, you would look at the one who won most of the pair in comparison. So Borda Count Method, this was another method that you could use. And this was a method that you actually gave points based off of what place they ranked. So if they were first place and there was N candidates, they got N points. If the second place person would get N -1 points. And the last place would only get 1 point. And the person who has the most Borda points would be the winner of the election. And today we want to kind of look at plurality with elimination. And so let's just kind of read what that is. So it's similar before. So plurality with elimination is a voting method that chooses the candidate with the majority of the votes. When there isn't one, it limits the candidates with the least votes and transfer those votes to the next highest candidate on the ballots, continuing this way until there's a majority candidate. So recall you won. If you won by majority, that meant that you got over 50% of the votes. And so if you look at a ballot and no one of the candidates got 50%, more than 50% of the votes, this is where we would start eliminating candidates so that we could see which one got 15%. And then we can rank choice voting, instant runoff voting, a variation of the plurality with elimination method based on truncated preference ballots. Okay, I'm not gonna read on any further. Let's actually, let's do 1.5 also. Methods of pairwise comparison. So we kind of did this a little bit. So method of pairwise comparison is a voting method based on a head-to-head comparison. So we did that before, between two candidates that assigns 1 point to the winner of each comparison, none to the loser, and a half a point to each of the two candidates in a case of a tie. So I thought it would be kind of cool to look at an example and going through an example, looking at all the different types of methods and counting the different ways or who would be the winner depending. So this example, we have a table below and it shows the preference schedule for an election of 4 candidates. We're going to call them A, B, C, and D. Use the plurality method to A, find the winner of the election. Okay, so we have 4 candidates again, right? We have the candidate A, we have candidate B, C, and D. And the number of votes. Well, if you look at this, first place, $29 chose D here. So let's give them 29 votes, gave them first place. And if I look through on the first place, none of the other groups have D as their first choice. And so looking next at 21, it looks like 21 thought A should be first or win. B only got 18 of the votes. And C got 10 plus 1, which is 11 of the votes. And so if we look at this to find the winner of the election using the plurality method, we would choose the person who got the most first place votes, which is D. If we look at ranking, we can just go through here. So D got the most, the second to most would be A, then it would be B, and C was last, so they're in 4th place. So I'm gonna pull that up, the next problem. So same table we're gonna use each time. Okay, so we want to find the winner of the election. Let me just read. Shows the preference schedule for an election of 4 candidates. Use the Borda Count Method to find. Okay, so this is because we have 4 candidates. The first place is going to get 4 points. Second place, all the second place votes a candidate gets, they get 3 points. Third place, they're going to get 2 points. And fourth place, those number would get 1 point. So let's go through and maybe look just at candidate A first. Okay, so for the first place, again, they get 4 points, and we want to go through and look at how many first place votes did A get. Well, A got 21 here, so it would be 21 times 4. plus, let's go through and see how many of the second place A got. So A got second place on this line, there's only 18, and that's worth 3 points. So 3 times 18. So third place is worth 2 points. And third place, notice that A came in with 29 on this list plus 10 here. So we can say 2 times the quantity of 29 plus 10. Plus fourth place winner, they only get 1 point. So 1 point times, and only one person voted them to be fourth place. So let's multiply, and then we'll go back and sum. So 4 times 21, that's 84, plus 3 times 18. Well, 3 times 18 is 54, plus 2 times the sum of 29 plus 10, so 2 times 39, which is 68. Wait, no, it's 78. And then 1 times 1 is just 1. So if we go through and we sum those, so I don't have my calculator up, we have 84 plus 54 plus 78 plus 1 should give us 217 points. So some of you are already ahead and knows who's the winner. Okay, so it does go a little longer sometimes when you're explaining. But if we go through now with B first choice, they have 18, so 4 times 18. Plus second choice, B has, that's 3 points, and that's 10 plus 1. They have 11 second place votes. Plus 2 times, B has 21. So 2 times 21. Plus B has fourth place votes, they have 29. So that's 1 point times 29. 4 times 18 is 72. Plus 3 times 11 is 33. Plus 2 times 21 is 42. Plus 1 times 29 is 29. So I got 176 for B. So I go through again with C. Over here. So C has 11 first place. That's worth 4 points. So that's 44 down here. Plus, C has 29 plus 21. That's 50 votes. And that's second place. Second place is 3 points, and 3 times 50, that's 150. C has 18 votes for third place. That's only worth 2 points. So 2 times 18, that is equal to 36, so plus 36. And then they don't have any last place. So 140 plus 150 plus 36 is 230. And then last but not least, candidate D. So D has 29 first place, so 4 times 29. If I multiply that, let me see, is 116. Plus D doesn't have any second place votes. D has 1 third place vote. So that's 2 points times 1. And then they have a group of last place votes. So for 1 point, we're going to sum, there's 21 plus 18 plus 10. 21 plus 18 is 39. 39 plus 10 is 49. So summing 116 plus 2 plus 49, you get 167. Okay, so looking at this, C is first place. Then what do we have? We have A is second choice for second place, then B, and then D. Okay, so notice that we got a different candidate here than we did doing it by the plurality method. Okay, so show the preference schedule for an election with 4 candidates, A, B, C, and D. The plurality with an elimination to find the winner of the election. So we want to first see, is the winner using the plurality method? Is that person the winner? Do they have a majority? Okay, so we need to ask ourselves, does the candidate with the most first place votes win by majority? If they won by majority, they're the winner. We don't have to go through with this elimination process. So first of all, we need to figure out how many candidates, or how many people, not candidates, how many people voted. Okay, so we can figure out the sum of voters, right? We had 21 that voted this way, plus 21 that had voted this preference, 18, 10, and 1. So if we look at that, I get 79. Actually, no, something's wrong there. No, I get 79. So remember, we looked at the number of votes for each one. We got that D was equal to 29 votes. They were the first place. They got the most votes for first place. To have a majority, though, we need this to figure out what this is divided by 2, and then round it up to the next integer. So 79 divided by 2. Well, 7 goes into, or sorry, 2 goes into 7 3 times. Carry my 1 that's left over. 2 goes into 19 8 times. So this is 38 and a half. Or no, sorry. 2 goes into 19 9 times, you're right. So 39.5. And so majority has to have 40 votes or more. And we saw that candidate D only got 29 of those votes. Okay, so we got to look at this, and we need to look at who came in last. And so if we looked at the number of votes, first place votes, and who came in last. Well, last place looks like C is, right? They only got 11 first place votes. So we're going to eliminate C from this voting method. Okay, so last place person gets eliminated. In this case, it's C. So let's just go through, and wherever we see a C, we're going to cross it out. And so then we're going to move up that column to replace where C is. And so if we got rid of C now, in this piece, A would be in second place, right? And B would have been in over here. So if I shift this column up and I got rid of C, this is now B, and this is now D. This would be D here. This is going to be B is first now, then A, then D. We would shift this up. So B now gets points for being first, and then D, and then A. Right, we eliminated one of the candidates, so we now only have 3 candidates, which in our case are A, B, and D. So since we eliminated the person with the least first place votes, now we're going to see if this person has majority. So first of all, we want to look at first place with this new count. And so if we look at the first place with a new count, A, they only got 21 votes. B, we have 18 plus 10 plus 1. So that is 29 votes for first place now. We got rid of C. Let's look at D. D has also 29 votes. Okay, so notice that the first place winner here, we actually have a tie, B and D. The problem is that neither of them have the majority. And so we want to go through this process again. We want to look at these 3 candidates, and we want to eliminate the last place. So the candidate in last place, when we had done our elimination before, this time it's A. So A is in last place. And so now we got to go through, and whenever we see an A, we're going to erase it. So let's see, we have an A here. So that moves B up here. We have an A here. So that moves B up here. And then D. We have an A here. So this moves up D. We have an A here. That still moves up D. And D just remains there. So the only thing that happened now really with getting rid of candidate A is now B has another 21 votes. Doesn't look like D got any more votes by moving up. Oops, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay, so candidate D, they still, right, has 29. But candidate B, when we did it, they have 29 plus 21. Oops, did I do that wrong? I mean, I'm writing in the wrong spot. 21, sorry. Yeah. So 29 plus 21, which should give us 50. We know when we do that elimination method, when we're summing who's left and the votes, we should get the total number of votes of the voters, which we saw before was 79. And then here, we said that majority, you had to have 40 votes or more. Does B also get 18? B does have 18. Oops. But I that 18 and the 10 is 28. Maybe I did this wrong. Um, 18 plus 10, that is 28, plus 1 is 29. So basically, I had already put in from the before that this was 29 plus this 21 here. So we did count that right. And so by plurality, of elimination method, we would have that B is the winner. Okay. So second place, it wants us to rank, find the complete ranking. Well, B, right? B was the one, not B. D was up there. So D would be in second place. We eliminated A, right? A was the second person that was eliminated. So A is third. And we had eliminated first was C. C had gotten the least votes at the beginning for first place. So C is fourth. Okay, so plurality elimination, we got B. What did we get above when we did it with the Borda count? We got D. And with just plurality, we got D. So we got all different values. I'm sorry, Borda, we got C. You're right. So we got B, C, and D. So they're all different winners based off of the different ways that you can count the votes. Okay, so we got the following table again. So show the preference schedule for an election with 4 candidates A, B, C, and D. Use a method of pairwise comparison to find the winner of the election. Okay, so we want to look at A versus B, A versus C, A versus D, B versus C, B versus D, and C versus D. Okay, so if I'm looking at these 29 votes, I want to see out of these 29, who was the winner between A and B. Getting rid of the other ones, A won here, 29 votes out of 29 votes. So here, they get 29. How am I going to do this? Let me just mark all the times A won. So they got 21 here. And B won the rest of them. So A was 21 plus 29, which is 50. Where B, if I went through and B won 18 times, plus 10 times, plus 1. So this is 28, 29. Again, I know this has to sum up to 79, so I could have kind of done some deduction, 79 minus the 50 that these got, so 29 would have had to been there. And so the person who won that pairwise would be A. Okay. So let's look at A versus C. Okay, so for A, they didn't win out of those 29 seeded. They won 21 here, A and C. They won 18 here. So 21 plus 18, which is 39. Well, 79 minus 39 is 40. So they won 40 of the votes seated. So C is the winner of that pairwise comparison. A and D. What? D won out of the 29. A won out of the 21. A won here with 18. A won here, and B won. So 21 plus 18 plus 10. Oops. So that's 39, 49. That means that D would have gotten, if I summed up those other, I should get 30. That means that A is the winner between A and D. So B and C. Okay, so out of the 29, B and C, C is the winner. C is the winner on the 21, B and C. B is the winner there. C is the winner and C is the winner. So C, we have 29 plus 21. I can see right away that B only had 18. So that would mean what, 61? Yeah. So C won out of this round. So B versus D. Okay, so B versus D. D is the winner. B is the winner. B is the winner. B is the winner. B is the winner. So D is only the winner 29 times, which means that's D, not B, which means that B is the winner 50 times. And so I could see that B is the winner with that pairwise. Okay, so C versus D. D is the winner here. So D only wins 29 times, where C won 50 times. So C is the winner. So for our points, or number of wins, A won 1, 2 times, where B won once out of the pairwise, and C won 3 times, and D didn't win at all. 0. So out of the pairwise, C is going to be our candidate. So the winner of the election. And then we can go and rank the other ones. So it looks like A would have been in second place. B would have been in third. And D would have been in last. Okay. So, any questions on that? Oops, I didn't need to do that. Let me just pause for a sec. Okay, so we're looking at a try it now where students are going to break into groups in the breakout rooms. Groups 1, 4, and 7 are going to try to see who wins the election using the plurality with elimination. Groups 2, 5, and 8, when you're in there, you're going to use the Borda Count Method. And groups 3, 6, and 9 are going to use the Pairwise Comparison. If for some reason you had missed lecture today, then for your try it to make up points for participation for today, you're going to have to show me all 3 of these methods, and I will have you upload that assignment into Canvas. I'll create an assignment for this try it. And so let me put you guys into groups now. And I'm going to pause or stop the recording.